So if you've seen any of my movie reviews, then you would know about the atrocities that are public domain horror movies. If you don't know what that means, just know that at some point in the future, your favorite cartoon character is going to hit the public domain, which means you can do whatever you want with them. You want to make shirts? Go ahead. You want to open up a store? They're not stopping you. You want to make them have sex? Surprisingly, if you don't attach it in any way to the original creator, you can totally do that, you pervert. But for some reason, sex isn't what's on these filmmakers' minds. It's horror. For some goddamn reason, whenever a cartoon character hits the public domain, somebody out there is like, let's make a horror movie with this beloved children's character as the villain. And it's like nobody realizes that these people are taking the plot of Halloween and replacing Michael Myers with Winnie the Butt-fucking Pooh. In every one of these movies, some guy in a mask starts slowly killing off a group of friends one by one who for some reason can't find a way to kill this guy until there's just one of them left. Because like me, I work better solo and get distracted in groups. But some of you guys might have heard about that Steamboat Willie or Winnie the Pooh horror movie that came out last year or earlier this year, I don't remember. Regardless, they were awful. It should be illegal for a movie to put out posters like this, but when the actual movie comes out, they make Pooh look like a drooling honey-eating retard. Also, he's a bear. Why the hell did you make him look like a hairless dog? But like I said, for some reason, whenever something popular is able to be used for whatever, 10 times out of 10, they're going to make something horror-related. And this movie I'm about to show you has reached a new all-time low when it comes to these kind of movies. So the movie is called IHeart Willie, and obviously you can see this is a man wearing a Mickey Mouse mask ready to start chopping heads. Now I want you to pay attention to how the mask looks, alright? It's pretty similar to how the cartoon is drawn, and it does a pretty good job of conveying who this is. You can ask anybody, you can ask a child, hey, who is this? And they'll be like, but you don't even have to know what this movie about to know that this is about Mickey Mouse killing people. So tell me why I'm watching this movie waiting for this mouse demon to pop up when all of a sudden this abomination appears right before my fucking peepers.
Oh! Shit! Shit! Ah! Ah!
What in the butthole is that? This is the worst mask I have ever seen be used in a horror movie. This looks like they stretched some leather over the most fucked up carrot they could find and started adding on from there. They're like, hey, can you hand me some scissors so I can start cutting these eye holes? And they're like, scissors? Did you not see us use a carrot for the fucking mold? Alright, Mr. Privilege, we don't have scissors, dog. But don't worry, because if that mask didn't tell you who this was supposed to be, there's this one scene where this one girl starts to fall in love with him and then shows him this tattoo of Steamboat Willie she got, being like, it's okay, I understand why you're doing this.
I'm here to love you.
What was the purpose of her getting that by her boob? Like, if she was hiding that because she was scared people were gonna think she was in a Mickey Mouse cult, I can guarantee you that having a Steamboat Willie tattoo is just about as scary as my fucking wallpaper. I'd be more worried about people thinking I'm a Disney adult with that tattoo. Like, that'd be the only explanation for her getting it there. So nobody knows about her sexual fantasies that she's having with a cartoon. Like, that part makes no sense other than to remind you that this thing is supposed to be Mickey Mouse, because that mask definitely did not tell you that. This looks like Ed Gein tried to make a Mickey Mouse mask, only this version of Ed Gein is retarded and has no hands. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say stuff like this should be illegal. This is a night and day comparison. They didn't even try. And what's funny is that they put this disclaimer at the beginning of the movie saying this original work is not approved, endorsed, licensed, or produced by Disney. No fucking shit. This looks like something Disney tried to make as he was dying. Like, as he was on his deathbed, they're like, draw us one more picture, please, and this is what he came up with. And they're like, yeah, we gotta make sure no one ever sees this. And somehow the guy who made this movie ended up with the sketch and was like, this joke is going on for too long. But the way this movie explains how this killer mouse even became a thing might be even dumber than the mask itself.
After you sent that tabloid article, I did some research. Since 1943, 27 people got missing in the exact same place where that famous mouse boy who inspired Steamboat Willie allegedly died in a fire.
Yeah, they called him Mouse Boy. Apparently that little freak was born half human, half mouse.
Half human, half mouse? That would mean one of his parents had to have fucked a rat. What in the hell kind of origin story is that? That's like the more fucked up origin story of how Stuart Little came to be. They don't tell you that in the movie, but his mom and it was disgusting. And I like how they try and throw in that this bestiality story was the one that inspired Steamboat Willie, because a half man, half mouse killer is totally what inspired this. I can totally see the inspiration. If you can, then you might be gay. Also, for some reason, this was filmed in Mexico and is the only reason they have these characters with accents, which doesn't do them any favors. Like, I'm sure if they were to speak Spanish, it would sound fine. But when either of them talk, you can tell something's off and that English is their second language.
So much. I thought Exterminator's van had a bunch of traps and shit. Where did everything go?
I know the Emmys just happened, but can we make an exception for her? Not only did that delivery give me goosebumps, but I'm still not quite sure what she was saying. Also, sick Ouija board shirt, dude. If that doesn't say emo, then I don't know what does. This guy's like, alright ladies, who wants to play a board game? And don't be afraid to go a little south of the board, you know what I mean? But spoilers, guys, for some reason, the girl in the pink is the one who falls in love with Willie and helps him kill all her friends. They don't explain how or why, other than she has that tattoo on her boob. But even then, why is she obsessed with this guy who has nothing to do with the cartoon? Like, being attracted to the Steamboat Willie cartoon does not transfer into falling in love with this thing. But then again, if you're bold enough to use that mask in your movie, who am I to call out your shitty storyline? You probably meant to write it like that. But yeah, guys, let's stop with all these public domain horror movies and even games. I saw there's a Steamboat Willie horror game coming out, and it's like, let's all calm down and realize that nobody asked for this. So maybe pack it up and spend your money on making something else. Until then, see you later today, if everything works out. If everything doesn't work out, then I'll see you tomorrow after the world ends. Peace.